All right, so we're going to be discussing how to make plans or how to tell people what it is that you're going to be doing. So remember, of course, these sentences will typically use the future proche. Okay? So because that's something that we are going to do. Remember that in order to conjugate the future proche, we're going to conjugate the verb aller for whatever your subject pronoun is, and then follow it up with the infinitive. So we see this exact same construction in English. So for example, I'm going to play soccer with Greg. Okay? I'm going, je vais, to play, jouer. Here's our conjugation of the verb aller. Okay? Je vais, tu vas, il va, elle va, on va. Nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. So questions 1 and 2. Translate the following plans into French. Okay? How would you say that he is going to do theater and we are going to study? To say that something is happening at a particular place or that you are going to a particular place. Either or, we're going to use the contraction, or we're going to use the preposition, a. Remember, however, that the preposition a has several contractions. Okay? So a followed by a feminine place stays the same, a la. And a followed by an L apostrophe will also stay the same, a L apostrophe. But a, when followed by a masculine place, will use o, and a followed by a plural place will use o, aux. A, le, and a, les are always, 100% of the time, going to be incorrect. So for example, if you want to say, I'm going to the theater is a masculine place, le théâtre. So we have to say, je vais au théâtre, because our a and our le at the beginning of théâtre are going to combine to form the contraction o. He swims at the beach. However, since beach is a feminine place, la plage, il nage à la plage. There's no contraction between a and feminine places, so it's going to remain the same. If you're going to more than one place, so for example, we are going to eat at the cafes, remember that any plural place, whether it's masculine or feminine, will use les, which means that we must contract with a to form o. Nous allons manger au café, because a and les can't go together either. To ask where something is going to happen, we're going to use où. Okay? So for example, our simple conversation here, je vais jouer au basket. So I'm going to play basketball. And Henri responds, ouais, which is like, yeah. And then he asks, où, where? So Pierre might say, je joue au parc. I play at the park. Since parc is a masculine word, le parc, we have to combine our a and our le to form o. Je joue au parc. You can also use où ça. This is only going to be used if this is your entire question. Okay, so for example, Henri said, où, where? Or he could have said, où ça? Okay, means like, where is that? We can also use où to ask about or to suggest places. However, in this case, we will not be able to use the word ça. So for example, if Louis says, j'aime jouer au volley, I like to play volleyball, Yvonne could ask, où tu joues? Where do you play? And then she might ask a couple of her ideas. So she might be asking, do you play à l'école? Do you play at the school? Ou au club du volley? Do you play at the volleyball club? So use this structure to write a short conversation asking about where something should happen. Okay, so in question number 3, you're going to make some kind of statement about something that's happening. Okay, and then 4, you're going to follow that up as if you were another person responding to that statement by asking where and suggesting a place where that thing might happen. Another common piece of conversation might include who. Okay, so who are you doing something with? So to ask the question, remember that we use avec qui, and it will always go at the beginning of the question. Okay? It could theoretically go at the very, very end, but 99% of the time it sounds most natural at the beginning. So for example, avec qui tu fais de la photo? With whom do you do photography? Who do you take pictures with? To answer it, we're going to say avec and then whoever we're doing it with. Okay? In this case, our answer almost always goes at the end of the question. Je fais de la photo avec Greg. We can use both the place and the with whom information in the same sentence. So all we have to do is connect our place with an a or one of its contractions, and connect our person with an avec. This almost always happens in the order of activity, place, person, though there's not actually a grammatical rule for that. You could definitely rearrange it if you wanted to, especially those last two. But just as a common structure, it almost always goes in this order. So for example, elle étudie au café avec Nathalie. So she is studying in the cafe or at the cafe with Natalie. Or, je vais faire de l'athlétisme à l'école avec Hélène. So I'm going to do track and field at the school with Helen. So question 5, write one sentence in which you tell me 3 things. Something that you are going to do, where you are going to do it, and also with whom you are going to do it. Be sure to include all 3 of these things in just one sentence.